Alright YouTube, it has been a while. I just figured I'd make this update video for you guys so you didn't think I died or something. Because a lot's been going on, I got really busy, and I haven't been able to really take time to make YouTube videos at the moment. And there's a lot of stuff that's happened since whatever video it was that I released like 2 or 3 months ago, I think. Um, for starters, I got in a car accident. It wasn't with any of my cars, it was with a customer car at my job. The car got totaled, I got hurt. Couple bruised ribs and a second-degree burn on my hand from the airbag going off. Fractured wrist and some superficial damage, like I bit my lip and that kind of stuff. But I'm mostly better now. Chest still hurts a little bit, but for the most part, I survived and I didn't get, severely injured. So that was my excitement for the month that happened back in the beginning of June. Um, and then what I've got going on with the cars is this Oldsmobile that we're sitting in right now. It's raining, that's why I'm not sitting outside. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be lasting much longer. I think it's got a knock. I don't know if it's terminal or not. But what I thought it was, I just looked at today and it's not. So, and it's just getting worse. It's getting louder and louder, and it's started doing it every once in a while, and just when it was cold, and then it started doing it a little bit more, and now it's just doing it all the time while it's running. I don't know if you are gonna be able to hear it if I start it, especially since it's raining out. But it's maybe I'll see if it shows up on camera and make a separate video about it. But it does have a knock. I don't know if it's like piston slap or if it's rod knock or if it's valve noise. I have no idea because I haven't really looked that much into it. But I do know that it is making noise. The whole car shakes violently as it's idling. You put it in gear, get it under a certain RPM, it cuts out of it. But when it's just idling at like 800 in park, or when you're accelerating, the whole dash is shaking. I had like my groceries just now sitting in the passenger seat here, and the bags were like shaking like that. It was, I mean, the whole car just shakes violently, and I thought it might be a motor mount, but I checked them and they're good, so, or they're, not bad. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. It's got probably an axle bearing bad in the back. It makes noise. It's got a squeak in the front that I haven't been able to figure out. It's not brakes. I redid both the front wheel bearings, repacked them, greased them, all that stuff. I actually replaced the bearings on the driver's side because they were a little bit not good. And it still squeaks. I just had my lower radiator hose blow off on me this morning when I got to work, so I spent the afternoon after I got off early today, and I just spent the afternoon replacing that hose and making sure that there was no other leaks. And I found out that the head gasket on the passenger side is leaking coolant. It's not leaking coolant bad, but it's running down the side of the engine block and onto the ground. So it's got that. There's one thing that's wrong with it. It's got this knocking. It's got probably an axle bearing out of it. I mean, this dash is broken. It's not just this bezel here. If you look at this part, the little box for the information is part of the actual dash. I've taken this off in videos. You can imagine that. I don't know if you can see that, but the whole thing moves when I do this. The actual dash, the black part that's part of this, cracked and broke off, so the entire dash just vibrates the entire time we're driving it. Same thing over here. It's loose over here as well. Nothing I can do. The tape player, which I know this doesn't really matter in scope of if the car is reliable or not, but I do like to listen to music a lot, and the tape player has been starting to eat tapes pretty frequently. Like every 3 or 4 tapes I put in there, it chews it up and eats it, and it's got to be an issue with the machine. I've cleaned it a few times, doesn't seem to help, so that's taking a shit. Yeah, it's not looking good for the Oldsmobile. I'm gonna probably have to try looking at seeing what's on the market to get a replacement here, because I don't think the Oldsmobile is gonna be part of the family much longer. But I'll show you what's going on with the other cars here. There, now that it's not really raining anymore. Nothing happened with the Cadillac. I I don't know if this happened before or after the most recent video, but I did blow a transmission line out of town. I was able to fix it. Couldn't get the part, so I just put a fuel line in there with some hose clamps, and it's still holding to this day. And then I'm going on a trip with it tomorrow, a 13-hour road trip in a single day. I'm not taking any breaks. I'm not resting. I'm just gonna bang it all out in one day, and it's gonna be fine. I trust myself. I trust the car. But because of that, I took the liberties of replacing the other transmission line right next to the one that blew, because that one wasn't looking very good either. So now they're both been replaced. Brakes are good, wheel bearings are good, tires are good, alignment's good. I fixed the control arms in the rear. So everything with the Cadillac is good. It's the only car I have right now that's actually in working condition. Move on to the Citation. You'll notice this is coming off. I don't really care about too much about that, but it's there now, so that's cool, I guess. I've just started using it as a dumpster. I've got an old bumper off a car I haven't shown you guys yet, and the transmission from that same car in here. That car that bumper belongs to will be in a future video as soon as I can get it running, but I don't want to show it to you guys till it's actually mobile. But what's going on with Citation? I haven't touched it at all hardly since the winter. But I did drive it the other day because I did go to the junkyard to get some parts for the Mercury, and the wipers quit working on me. So I don't know if it's an electrical issue, or if it's the regulator or the transmission, I suppose you could call it, or if it's the motor itself. I have no idea. So I've got to deal with that. And now that I'm going to be probably driving this instead of the Oldsmobile, the wiper situation has to be fixed, because I have to have wipers. It's been non-stop rain for like the last 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks. So starting to rust a lot. I am going to sell this car, but obviously I can't do that now if it's going to be my daily, until I can find something to replace the Oldsmobile. I was planning on getting like an El Camino or maybe a Suburban or something with a little more room than this, so I can actually go to the junkyard without borrowing that truck there. It belongs to my dad. Because I don't like that truck. It doesn't have a tape player. The radio doesn't work. It sucks ass. It rides like shit, and the alignment's off. It's just a piece of junk. This, for what I was trying to get a hood, and I couldn't fit the hood in the back of this, obviously, because the hood was like half the size of the car. So I will need to be getting something bigger at some point, but for now I'm gonna have to use it as a daily, because the Oldsmobile is probably not going to be around much longer. And then we move on into the shop. Mercury's in here. The reason it's in this side, not the work side, is because we actually had a tornado warning, and I wanted to get all the cars inside, so I put them all inside. And the new car you guys don't know about and the Cadillac were in the other side, and this one went back in here since we hadn't filled up its spot from when I had it in storage. And when I did that and got back in to move it back out after the storm, wouldn't start. Got it jumped, started it, and the alternator light was on. So I did what any person should do. I took the alternator off and I took it to the electrical service center. They tested it on their machine, and they cracked it open and looked at it, because they just had this thing rebuilt like last year. And they said everything looks good. It tested great. It's putting out 14.8 volts. Wonderful. So what else have I got going on with it then, if the alternator is good? I went to go look at the battery, and the battery was bad for starters, but that wouldn't cause the alternator not to charge, because the alternator ain't charging at all. I tested it, I started the car, I put a voltmeter on the battery, and had somebody sitting there and rev it up to about 1200 in gear, and it's getting like 11.8 volts. So it's not charging at all. It's actually discharging it. So yes, the battery was bad, but that wasn't the issue. What the issue ended up being is this voltage regulator took a shit. So I got to replace that. But then also, when I was in the process of looking at this, I realized that the harness for it was completely, like, it looked like it caught on fire at one point. It was like all melted and destroyed. So my guess is this got hot, melted the connector, and destroyed the battery. That's my theory of what happened. So went to the junkyard, and I got a new harness for this. And then I went on eBay and got a brand new old stock one of these from Ford Motor Company. Or it wasn't from them, it was from somebody else, but it was originally from Ford. It was in the original box and everything. I have the parts, I haven't put it in yet. I haven't had time. I've been preparing for my trip, so I haven't been able to do anything with that. It's raining pretty hard again, as you can see, so it's perfect timing I came in here, I guess. But yeah, that's all that's going on with the Mercury. Nothing's really changed with it. I've only driven it like a total of one time since I got it out of storage, because I really need to put a temp gauge in it, aftermarket temp gauge, because I really don't trust that engine with how hot it gets. And I'm not going to blow this engine up after I just rebuilt it last year, so I haven't been driving it that much for that reason. But now it can't even move because it won't charge, so I got to fix that charging issue. And then I'll be able to drive this, and I'll take it to I got an appointment at the body shop for the mid-July to fix that door and this damage up here that I did a couple years ago by backing into it like a dumbass. They'll fix that, and then I'll start getting going on the body work on it. We'll get more videos pumped out on this car. But yeah, as for what's been going on, there you go. Mercury needs voltage regulator and a harness. The Citation needs a wiper motor. The Oldsmobile is probably going to be dead soon. Nothing's going on with the Cadillac. It's good. But yeah, there you go. There's your update. I can't promise I'll be putting out videos as fast as I used to because I just am too busy these days. But I can tell you that the vehicles that I'm going to be looking for to replace the Oldsmobile are late 70s Cadillacs, DeVilles and Fleetwoods on that same platform the Oldsmobile is, because I like that the way that car is. Same with the 77 through 79 Buick Park Avenue. Be looking at those. 77 to 79 Pontiac Bonneville, and the late 80s Chevy Caprices. Those are all my first choices. I'd also consider a full-size Ford from the 80s, preferably the later 80s, so I can get the throttle body injection instead of a carburetor, because Ford carburetors in the 80s are junk. And I might consider like a full-size Chrysler, like a Plymouth Grand Fury or Dodge Diplomat or something from the 80s. But I don't know, those cars rust a lot and the quality isn't great, so that'll probably be my last choice unless I can find one for a steal of a deal. And then finally, I've been actually considering a late 70s first-generation Cadillac Seville. I don't know a whole lot about them, though. I'd be a little concerned if they ride as nice as the full-size cars do, being a mid-size car on the Chevy Nova platform. I'd be concerned that it wouldn't ride as nice, or the steering would be weird, or it'd be too cramped inside, that kind of thing. So I'll have to do some more research into it, but I see them for sale quite a bit, and they're not that expensive, so I could probably get one for pretty cheap that needs some work. But I don't know. You guys tell me what you think if you made it this far, and I'll see you in the next one.